Whether they're shaped like bananas, printed using gold foil, or even with actual fish skin, novelty stamps are attention seekers and they're either loved or frowned upon by stamp collectors. I happen to love them, so here's my countdown of the top 10 novelty stamps. These are the gimmicky, the unusual, the peculiar postage stamps that interact with us a lot more than just being a simple piece of paper. And whether or not they were issued to boost stamp sales or perhaps attract the attention of the stamp collector, they certainly make for fun items to look out for and definitely pique your curiosity. Now, I've been able to put together 10 of the most unusual novelty stamps out there that were either sent to me, or I got from my stock books, or I had to go seek them out. But let's work our way up to the most unusual novelty stamp, starting at number 10 with this coffee-scented stamp from India. Issued in 2017, this stamp has a fragrance-based ink that, when touched, gives off the aroma of coffee. Scented stamps are nothing new. India has issued sandalwood and rose-scented stamps. Here's a very strong lemon-scented stamp from Switzerland, and here's a couple of fruit-scented stamps from French Polynesia. Now, while I love the aroma of coffee, my only concern is that over time the fragrance fades and you'll just be left with a normal stamp. Now, this coffee stamp is supposed to last for 5 years. However, I've got these Polynesian ones and they're still very strong. It's been 13 years, so they last a lot longer than I would have thought. Next on the list is a Selfie Stamp from Switzerland. It's basically a little silver mirror stamp that was issued in 2017 and was a collaborative project between the Swiss Post and students at the Zurich University of the Arts. The idea was to symbolize the connection between the digital world and the analog reality that we live in, where the rise of email has driven letter writing into a digital age. The name of the series is Letterverse Email, and when all the stamps are together in a sheet, they form this little tablet, giving a pretty good reflection of myself, or society if you will, as this is the way most of us now write and interact with letters. So there it is, a selfie stamp. Number 8 from Iceland, a woolly sweater stamp. Also issued in 2017, this stamp depicts a typical knitted sweater pattern that is one of the most known features of Icelandic culture. What is unique about this stamp is that it's printed on flocked paper, and this gives the surface of the stamp a smooth textured feeling as if you're touching a sweater made from yarn. Icelandic sweaters were a popular export in the 1960s and 1970s, and although they died down in popularity over the years, they are apparently having a bit of a comeback and also making it onto their postage stamps. Number 7 is from China, and it's a stamp to celebrate the Chinese New Year back in 2007 for the Year of the Pig. Not only does it display pigs, but it's supposed to smell and taste like sweet and sour pork, the popular Chinese dish. The glue on the back has a flavoring to it to give that sweet and sour pork taste while you're licking the stamp. And keep in mind that it's 11 years old because I don't smell anything. I don't taste anything either, but the idea is pretty cool. Number 6 is from the UK, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the famous Machen stamp, featuring Arnold Machen's design of Queen Elizabeth II's portrait. Remember, I did a whole episode in season 2 about the Machen stamp. Well, these are printed using gold foil. Of course, gold being associated with 50th anniversaries. And yes, it is real gold, it's just a very small amount. I think I worked it out to be less than 8 US cents worth of gold per stamp. But still, they came out really well. Number 5 is from the Faroe Islands in the North Atlantic, and this one's kind of weird. A square piece of tanned cod skin has been printed on and placed on the stamp. North Atlantic cod is an important part of the island's diet, and when the skin has been tanned properly, it can actually be stronger than cowhide and has been used to make such things as watch straps, book bindings, bags, and belts. Think about the amount of effort that went into just making this stamp. Somebody had to catch the fish, skin it, tan it, print on it, and then place it on the stamp. I guess the question is not why, but why not? Number 4 is from Spain, and it's the world's first origami stamp issued in 2017. This souvenir sheet comes with the folding instructions. This is a very unique idea for a stamp, and it was sent to me by one of my viewers, which gave me the idea to kind of put this video together. Origami was invented in China, became super popular in Japan, and believe it or not, Spain, which you could say has been the cradle for origami in the West. Now, I got a second one in case I mess this up, so let's give it a fold. Meet the pajarita. It's a little folded bird that is a classic for Spanish origami and a little more difficult than I anticipated. You know how the folded crane is a classic for Japanese origami? Well, this is the Spanish version of the folded crane, a little tiny bird. Apparently you can use either the folded or non-folded version to send mail in Spain. I just don't know how you mount this little folded bird onto an envelope. Number 3 is from the United States, celebrating the coast-to-coast total solar eclipse that happened in 2017. These stamps depict the moment of totality when the moon completely covers the sun, and they're printed in thermochromic ink that uses the heat from your fingers to reveal the moon. These are pretty cool. I noticed that the effect is quite a bit better when you push from both sides of the stamp. Now, I was actually able to see the solar eclipse, but I wasn't in the path of totality. On the back of the sheet, you can see the path of totality, which ran through 14 states and was about 70 miles wide. So if you weren't in that path at that time, you can at least use these stamps to see what a total solar eclipse looks like. Iceland shows up again, this time at number 2 with these volcano stamps issued in 2010. They are depicting the 2010 eruption of that volcano. I briefly mentioned these stamps in the first episode of season 2 while I was in Iceland, and what makes them so unique is that the actual ash from the volcano has been silkscreen printed onto the stamp. You can see it, you can touch it, it's like you can own a piece of history. Remember, that volcano caused a lot of disruption with air travel throughout Europe and across the Atlantic, as the ash, smoke and steam from the eruption severely impacted the air quality. And they're definitely a favorite of mine. Now, I've seen, I've felt, I've smelled, I've even tasted a stamp. So the only thing I haven't done is heard one. That brings us to number 1. And here it is, a stamp from Bhutan. This is a miniature record, part of a series what was known as the first talking stamps, and they were issued in 1972. 7 different records or stamps made up the series, and they're not too easy to come by. Oh, and yes, you could actually have used these large stamps to send mail. They are playable, 33 1/3 RPM, as long as the tone arm lets you get that close to the center. And what's on them? Well, each stamp either has a Bhutanese folk song, the history of the country spoken out, or in my case, the Royal Bhutan Anthem. Let's see if it works. The stamp's so light it doesn't weigh itself down, so I'm going to have to use some weight. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do you agree with this list? What other unusual novelty stamps have you come across that I did not mention? If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.